The champagne bubbles tickled my nose as Rachel clinked her glass against mine. To 15 years of friendship, she beamed, her perfectly lined lips curving into what I now recognize as a predatory smile. I was too caught up in the moment, too trusting, to see the shadows lurking behind her eyes. I'm Selena, and until tonight, I thought I knew what loyalty meant. The restaurant buzzed with the kind of energy only a Friday night can bring. Rachel had insisted on celebrating our friendship anniversary at this upscale place, complete with crystal chandeliers and white tablecloths that probably cost more than my weekly grocery bill. Remember when we used to share those awful peanut butter sandwiches in high school? I laughed, settling into the comfortable nostalgia of our shared history. God, we were so broke back then, Rachel said, checking her phone for the third time in 5 minutes. Carl's running late. Board meeting. I nodded, used to her husband's irregular schedule. How are things with you two? Perfect. She smiled that smile again. Actually, I need to use the ladies' room. Back in a minute. I watched her weave through the tables, her red dress catching the light. 15 years of friendship. Through breakups, job losses, her wedding to Carl, my divorce, Rachel had been my constant. My phone buzzed. A text from Ava. Call me ASAP, important. I was about to step outside to call when I saw them. Through the glass doors leading to the restaurant's garden terrace, illuminated by string lights and the setting sun, stood Rachel and Carl. His hands were on her waist, but that wasn't what made my blood run cold. It was the way she reached up to someone else standing in the shadows. I moved closer, my heels silent on the plush carpet. The third figure stepped into the light, and my heart stopped. Nicholas, my boyfriend of 8 months, pulled Rachel into a kiss that spoke of familiarity, of practice, of betrayal. They've been at it for months, a quiet voice said beside me. I turned to see Faith, a waitress I recognized from previous visits, holding an empty tray. I'm sorry, I wanted to tell you, but the champagne churned in my stomach. Through the glass, I watched Rachel laugh, wiping Nicholas's lipstick from her mouth, while Carl watched with amusement. My best friend, my boyfriend, her husband, all playing some twisted game I hadn't known I was part of. My phone buzzed again. Ava, of course, she must have known. She'd been trying to warn me. I walked back to our table, my movements mechanical. The champagne glasses stood there, mocking me with their half-empty contents and lipstick-stained rims. Reaching into my purse, I pulled out the small wrapped gift I'd brought, a friendship bracelet, custom-made with our initials. Rachel returned, cheeks flushed. Sorry that took so long. Carl's here, he's just parking the car. I met her eyes, searching for any trace of the friend I thought I knew. No problem, I understand everything now. Her smile faltered, just for a second, but it was enough. In that moment, I knew this wasn't just betrayal, this was war. I barely made it home before my phone exploded with messages. Rachel's name flashed on the screen repeatedly, but it was Ava's call I finally answered, my hands shaking as I pressed the button. Tell me everything, I demanded, kicking off my heels. I only found out yesterday, Ava's voice cracked. Faith contacted me. She's been watching them meet at the restaurant for months. Nicholas and Rachel, they've been seeing each other since before you even met him. I sank onto my couch, the room spinning. And Carl? He knows. He's in on it. They target wealthy women, Selena. You're not the first. My stomach lurched. What do you mean, target? Your investment in their new business venture. The one Rachel convinced you to make last month. It's a scam. They've done this before. Rachel befriends successful women, introduces them to Nicholas, and then the $50,000 I'd transferred. My emergency savings, gone to their fake startup. My doorbell rang, making me jump. Through the peephole, I saw Rachel, still in her red dress. Don't answer it, Ava warned. She'll try to explain it away. They always do. Selena, please. Rachel called through the door. Let me explain. It's not what you think. I muted my phone. Really? Because I think you and your husband are running a con with my boyfriend. Silence then. We can fix this. The money, we'll return it. Just open the door. I leaned against the wall, my voice steady, despite the rage building inside me. How many others? What? How many other women have you and Carl scammed? Another pause. Nicholas said you were smart. We should have known you'd figure it out. I laughed, a hollow sound that surprised even me. 15 years, Rachel. Was any of it real? Business is business, Selena. Nothing personal. My phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. I opened it to find a link to a news article from 2 years ago. Local couple accused of investment fraud. Charges dropped due to insufficient evidence. You should leave, I called out. Before I call the police. With what proof? Her voice turned cold. Your word against ours. Carl's got friends in high places, sweetie. Why do you think we never get caught? I heard her heels click away, each step hammering another nail into the coffin of our friendship. Ava was still on the line. I unmuted the call. I need your help. Anything. Faith, can she prove what they've been doing? She's got photos, timestamps of their meetings, but it's not enough for legal action. I walked to my home office, pulling out my laptop. Then we'll have to be smarter than them. Rachel's right, this is business. What are you thinking? I opened my banking app, staring at the transaction history. They've been playing this game for years, Ava. Every game has rules, patterns. Selena, I'm not going to the police, I said, starting to type. I'm going to do what Rachel taught me best. I'm going to befriend some people, starting with their other victims. Be careful, Ava warned. Carl's dangerous when cornered. I smiled, thinking of Rachel's cold goodbye. So am I. 3 weeks of digging had led me to this coffee shop, where I sat across from a woman who could have been me 6 months ago. Sarah twisted her napkin between manicured fingers, her designer watch catching the light. Exactly the type of successful professional Rachel and Carl targeted. They took everything, Sarah whispered. My savings, my inheritance. Rachel was so convincing, so caring. And Nicholas, let me guess. He was charming, attentive, knew exactly what to say? She nodded. When I confronted them, Carl threatened to ruin my reputation, said he'd make sure I'd never work in finance again. My phone buzzed, a text from Faith. They're meeting with someone new, tonight. Usual spot. How many others have you found? Sarah asked. You're the 4th this month. Each story the same. Rachel makes friends. Nicholas seduces them. Carl handles the threats when it falls apart. The bell above the door chimed. Nicholas walked in, and my heart jumped despite everything. He hadn't seen me yet. Don't turn around, I told Sarah. But our mutual friend just arrived. Sarah's face went pale. I pulled out my phone, pretending to take a selfie, while actually photographing Nicholas meeting with another woman at the counter. Selena, a familiar voice made me freeze. Ava slid into the booth beside me. Sorry I'm late. Did you show her? I pulled out a folder. These are statements from 3 other victims. Plus, photos Faith took of their meetings, bank transfers, everything. It's not enough, Sarah said. Carl's got judges in his pocket. Police won't touch him. We don't need the police, I said, watching Nicholas laugh with his new target. We need his ledger. Ava's eyes widened. The one he keeps in his home office. Selena, that's insane. Not his home. Their vacation house. Rachel told me about it last year. Bragged about the safe behind the painting in Carl's study. She was drunk, probably forgot she mentioned it. And how exactly do you plan to get in? Sarah asked. I smiled. Through the front door, with Rachel's help. She'll never help you. She won't have a choice. Faith overheard her arguing with Carl last week. Seems Rachel's been skimming from their scams, keeping money for herself. Carl doesn't know yet. Ava leaned forward. Blackmail, that's dangerous. So is stealing from desperate women. I watched Nicholas leave with his new mark. Besides, I've got something better than blackmail. I've got her guilt. Rachel doesn't feel guilt, Sarah scoffed. She does. Faith says she's been drinking more, making mistakes. 15 years of friendship doesn't disappear overnight, no matter how good an actor you are. My phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. I know what you're planning. Meet me tonight. I can help. N. Nicholas. Ava peered at my screen. It's a trap. Probably. I stood up, gathering my things. But he's not as loyal to them as they think. Faith saw him arguing with Carl yesterday. Something's fracturing in their perfect little scheme. Be careful. Sarah grabbed my arm. They're not worth destroying yourself over. I thought of Rachel's cold smile at the restaurant, of the other women whose lives they'd ruined. I'm not destroying myself. I'm just returning the favor. Walking out, I texted Nicholas back. Midnight. You know where. The game was changing. Time to see who would break first. The park bench felt cold at midnight. Nicholas emerged from the shadows, his usual confidence replaced by something more desperate. You're taking a risk meeting me, I said, not looking at him. So are you. He sat beside me, leaving careful distance between us. Carl knows you're gathering evidence. Is that why you're here? To warn me off? I'm here because I want out. His hand shook as he lit a cigarette. Rachel's losing it. Carl's getting violent. The whole thing's falling apart. I laughed bitterly. And I should believe you because I've got proof. He pulled out his phone, showing me videos. Rachel screaming at Carl, throwing glasses. Carl grabbing her arm, threatening her. It's not just an act anymore. They're spiraling. Why show me this? The ledger you're looking for? It's not just accounts. It's everything. Names, dates, blackmail material. Carl keeps dirt on everyone, including Rachel and me. Insurance. A jogger passed by, making both of us tense. What's your angle, Nicholas? Carl's got something on me. Something that could put me away for years. Help me get the ledger, and I'll make sure you get what you need to take them down. Right, because you're suddenly growing a conscience. Because I'm tired. He stubbed out his cigarette. And because you're different. What Rachel did to you. It wasn't part of the plan. She actually cared about you. My phone buzzed. Faith. Rachel just showed up at the restaurant. She's drunk, asking for you. Prove you're serious, I told Nicholas. Give me something real. He handed me a USB drive, bank statements, offshore accounts. Not enough to convict, but enough to show you I'm serious. Another text, this time from Ava. Rachel's crying. Faith says she's talking about confessing. Carl keeps the ledger in a safe, Nicholas continued. But Rachel knows the combination. Get her to help you. And what? We all skip into the sunset. I stood up. You played me for months. Helped them steal from innocent women. I know, but people can change. No. I grabbed my bag. People just show their true colors, eventually. He caught my arm. Where are you going? To see Rachel. Seems she's having a crisis of conscience, too. Don't trust her, he warned. No matter what she says. I pulled away. Like I shouldn't trust you? I'll text you the details about Carl's schedule. The house will be empty this weekend. Walking away, I called Ava. Keep Rachel there. I'm coming. Selena, she's a mess. Keeps saying she never meant for it to go this far. I thought of the USB drive in my pocket, of Nicholas's desperate plea, of Rachel's tears. Good, guilty people make mistakes. And Nicholas, he's playing his own game. But right now, that works for us. Be careful. If they're really turning on each other, then we use it, I said, starting my car. Rachel's drunk and guilty. Nicholas is scared and desperate. Carl's losing control. Perfect time to strike, Ava finished. Exactly. Get Sarah and the others ready. By Monday, either we'll have the ledger, or, I thought of Rachel's cold smile, of Carl's threats, of Nicholas's betrayal, or we'll have something better, the truth. The engine roared to life, carrying me toward the next move in this dangerous game. Rachel looked nothing like the polished woman I'd known for 15 years. Mascara streaked her cheeks, and her hands trembled around a half-empty wine glass. I didn't think you'd come, she slurred, as I slid into the booth. Faith appeared with water, shooting me a concerned look. I nodded. Keep watching. You wanted to confess something? I kept my voice neutral, pressing record on my phone under the table. Carl's going to kill me. Rachel laughed, a broken sound. Not literally, probably, but when he finds out. Finds out what? She leaned forward, wine sloshing. I've been copying pages from his ledger. Insurance, you know? He thinks he's so smart, keeping dirt on everyone. Didn't think I'd do the same. My heart raced. Where are these copies? Safe deposit box. Can't get to it without him knowing. He monitors everything. Not everything, I said. Or he'd know about the money you've been skimming. Her face went white. How did you? I learned from the best. Remember, you taught me to always have a backup plan. Is that what this is? Revenge? Justice. I slid my phone across the table, showing her the group chat with her other victims. For them, for me. Tears welled in her eyes. I never wanted to hurt you. You were different. But you did it anyway. Carl said. He said if I didn't, he'd reveal everything. About the first girl, the one who, she choked. I can't go to prison, Selena. My phone buzzed. Nicholas. Carl's heading to the restaurant. Now. Rachel. I grabbed her hands. The safe at the vacation house. Give me the combination. He'll know it was me. He's already suspicious. Those copies you made. He knows. Her eyes widened in panic. How? Nicholas told me. Carl's planning to deal with you this weekend. No, no, no. She grabbed her purse, stumbling to stand. I can help you, I said. But I need that combination. The restaurant door chimed. Rachel's face turned to terror as Carl's voice boomed across the room. Give me your phone, I whispered urgently. She handed it over, hands shaking. I quickly typed in my number and pressed call, letting it ring once before hanging up. 84736, she whispered. Behind the Monet in the study. Now get out, back door. I slipped out through the kitchen just as Carl reached their table. Through the window, I watched him grab Rachel's arm, his charming facade cracking. Outside, Ava waited in her car. Did you get it? Better. I held up my phone, showing the recording. Got her confession about copying the ledger. And this. I played Rachel's call to my phone. The combination number's clear in her whispered voice. She'll warn him. No, I said, watching through the window as Carl dragged Rachel out. She's more afraid of him than she is of me. Besides, she thinks those copies are her only leverage. And Nicholas? Should be at the house now, disabling the security cameras. I checked my watch. We have 2 hours while Carl deals with Rachel. This is crazy, Ava said, starting the car. Breaking and entering. We should go to the police. I thought of Rachel's terrified face, of the other women's ruined lives. The police won't help. But after tonight, we'll have something even they can't ignore. We pulled away from the restaurant, leaving Rachel to face the monster she'd helped create. Sometimes, I realized, revenge isn't about hurting others. It's about exposing the truth they've buried. The vacation house loomed dark against the night sky. Nicholas waited in the shadows by the side door, his face tense. Security's down, he whispered as we approached. But something's wrong. Carl's car was here earlier. What? Ava grabbed my arm. You said he'd be dealing with Rachel. He was. I watched them leave the restaurant. I pulled out my phone. No messages from Faith. Unless the side door clicked open. Unless he knew you were coming. Carl's voice cut through the darkness. Inside. Now. Nicholas reached for something in his jacket. Carl was faster, the metallic glint of a gun appearing in his hand. Don't be stupid, Nick. Inside. We filed in. The expensive furniture now feeling like props in a horror movie. Carl directed us to the study, where Rachel sat in an armchair, her makeup still streaked from crying. Quite the performance at the restaurant. Carl smiled, closing the door behind us. Really had me going for a minute, honey. Rachel wouldn't meet my eyes. I'm sorry, Selena. Save it, I spat. This was your plan all along, not hers. Carl said. Mine. Rachel's not smart enough to play both sides, but Nicholas here. He gestured with the gun. He did a wonderful job feeding you exactly what you wanted to hear. Nicholas stepped away from me. They were going to catch us eventually. Better to control how it ends. You son of a... Ava lunged at him, but Carl's gun stopped her short. The ledger copies, I asked Rachel. Never existed, she whispered. Carl knows everything. He always has. Carl moved to the Monet painting, swinging it aside to reveal the safe. Funny thing about trust. Give people enough rope, they'll hang themselves every time. He spun the dial, not the combination Rachel had given me. The safe clicked open. Looking for this, he pulled out a black notebook. Names, dates, account numbers, everything you thought would save you. But here's what you missed. He pulled out a stack of papers, signed confessions, from every one of those women you interviewed, admitting to investment fraud, tax evasion, everything. They'd never. You'd be amazed what people will sign when their families are threatened, Nicholas said quietly. When their children's safety is at stake. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Carl held out his hand. Give it here. Instead, I pressed play. Rachel's voice filled the room. Carl's going to kill me. I've been copying pages from his ledger. Delete it, Carl snarled. Can't. It's already uploaded to every email address in that ledger of yours. The color drained from his face. You're bluffing. Check your phone, I said. Should be getting quite a few panicked calls right about now. As if on cue, his phone started buzzing. Rachel stood up slowly. She's not bluffing, Carl. I sent her the email list weeks ago, back when you first started threatening me. You stupid. He turned the gun toward her. The study door burst open. Police, drop the weapon. Faith stepped in behind the officers, still in her waitress uniform. Sorry I'm late. Had to make sure they had enough time to trace the calls from all those angry investors. Carl's gun clattered to the floor. Nicholas tried to bolt, but was tackled by an officer. As they were led away in handcuffs, Rachel paused beside me. How did you know I was playing you at the restaurant? I thought of all our years of friendship, of every lie she'd ever told, because for the first time in 15 years, your tears were real. The ledger lay forgotten on Carl's desk, no longer needed. The truth had found its own way out. The police station buzzed with activity at 3 a.m. I sat in the interview room, a cup of cold coffee in front of me, watching through the window as Carl was processed. Detective Morris slid another form across the table. Just need your signature here. You took quite a risk, Ms. Lewis. Worth it, I said, signing. How many victims have come forward? 23 so far. Carl's phone hasn't stopped ringing since those recordings went out. She smiled. Smart move, having Faith call us before you went in. I had to be sure you'd hear everything. The confession, the threats. The door opened, and Sarah walked in with 2 other women I recognized from my investigation. Their faces showed the same mix of exhaustion and relief I felt. They're offering us a deal, Sarah said, sitting down. Full restitution in exchange for reduced sentences. Rachel's talking, Detective Morris added. Everything. The first victim, the judges they bribed, all of it. I thought of Rachel's tears in the study. Will she serve time? Less than Carl and Nicholas. Her cooperation helps. Plus, the evidence that Carl was threatening her. Sarah reached across the table, squeezing my hand. We owe you everything. You don't owe me anything. We did this together. Ava appeared at the door. Selena, Rachel's asking to see you. My stomach tightened. Detective Morris raised an eyebrow. You don't have to? Yes, I do. Rachel sat in another interview room, handcuffed to the table. Her designer dress was wrinkled, her makeup completely gone. She looked younger somehow, more like the girl I'd shared peanut butter sandwiches with. They're letting me plead to lesser charges, she said as I sat down. 5 years, maybe less. Good for you. I meant what I said about you being different. She leaned forward. The first girl, the one I mentioned. She died, Selena, killed herself after Carl threatened her family. That's when I knew I couldn't leave. But you could keep doing it to others. I was a coward. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Every time I looked at you, I saw her. That's why I started copying the ledger. Why I sent you the email list. You could have warned me about Nicholas. Carl would have known it was me. But I made sure Faith saw them meeting, made sure she told Ava. She smiled sadly. My last act of friendship. A knock at the door. Detective Morris stepped in. Time to go. I stood up. Rachel called after me. The money, your investment, check your account. Back in the hallway, I pulled out my phone. My banking app showed a new transfer, $50,000 plus interest. She transferred it last night, Ava said, looking over my shoulder. Before the restaurant, she knew how it would end. Faith joined us, still in her uniform. The other victim's money is being returned too. Rachel had been secretly moving it to a separate account for months. I watched through the window as they led Rachel away. 15 years of friendship ended in a single night. Or maybe it had ended long ago, and I just hadn't wanted to see it. Ready to go home? Ava asked. I nodded, suddenly exhausted. The truth was out, justice was being served. But victory felt hollow. Sometimes winning means losing something too. Yeah, I said. Let's go home. The morning sun streamed through my office window as I reviewed another client's investment portfolio. A knock at the door made me look up. Package for you, Faith said, no longer in her waitress uniform, but wearing a smart business suit. After the trial, she'd been the first person I'd hired for my new legitimate investment firm. The return address made my heart skip. Women's Correctional Facility. Rachel, Faith asked, sitting down. I nodded, opening the envelope. Inside was a single photo. 2 teenage girls sharing a peanut butter sandwich, laughing at something long forgotten. Her sentencing is today, Faith said quietly. I know. I tucked the photo away. Sarah called. She and the others are attending. Are you? My phone buzzed. Ava. Court in an hour. You coming? The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters. Sarah waved me over to where she stood with other victims. All of us dressed for battle, one last time. Carl got 20 years, she whispered. Nicholas 12. Rachel's next. Inside, Rachel looked small in her prison jumpsuit. When the judge asked if she had anything to say, she stood slowly. I've spent 15 years pretending to be someone's friend while destroying lives, she said. I can't undo that damage, but I can say this. Selena Lewis showed me that real friendship means telling the truth, even when it hurts, even when it costs you everything. The judge sentenced her to 5 years. As they led her away, her eyes met mine. No tears this time, just acceptance. Outside, reporters shoved microphones in my face. Ms. Lewis, how does it feel knowing your best friend betrayed you? What made you start your own investment firm? I thought of the photo Rachel had sent. Sometimes betrayal teaches you who you really are and who you want to be. Back at the office, Ava waited with Sarah and Faith. On my desk sat a folder, another woman seeking help, rebuilding her finances after being scammed. Taking her case? Ava asked. That's what we do now, I said, opening the folder. We help people trust again. Sarah smiled. From victims to vigilantes to legitimate businesswomen. Who'd have thought? Speaking of business, Faith pulled out her tablet. That investment group called again. They want to partner with us. I shook my head. We stay small, personal, no partnerships. Trust issues? Ava teased. Experience, I corrected. Sometimes, the best revenge is living well and helping others do the same. My phone buzzed one last time, a text from an unknown number. Thank you for teaching me about real friendship, even if I learned too late. I didn't respond. Some lessons come at too high a price for thanks. Next client's here, Faith announced. I watched my team, my real friends, prepare for another day of helping people rebuild their lives. The photo of 2 innocent teenagers sat in my drawer, a reminder of what was lost, but also what was found. Strength, purpose, and genuine loyalty. Send them in, I said, ready to show another person that trust, when placed in the right hands, can heal even the deepest betrayals. Sometimes the best endings aren't about revenge at all. They're about becoming the person you were meant to be all along.